the today's session, we are going to discuss risk assessment and quality risk management, commonly called QRM. In pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and laboratory environments, quality is not achieved by chance. It is achieved by identifying risks early, evaluating their impact, and taking appropriate actions before problems occur. Quality risk management is a systematic and science-based approach that helps organizations identify, assess, control, communicate, and review risk throughout the product life cycle. The ultimate objective of QRM is very simple: to protect patients while supporting informed decision making. Before understanding the process, let us understand why risk management is important. The first reason is patient safety. Every medicine, vaccine, diagnostic product, or medical device ultimately reaches a patient. Therefore, every decision we make should prioritize patient safety. The second reason is proactive thinking. Instead of waiting for failure to occur, QRM helps us to predict potential problems and prevent them before they happen. The third reason is quality culture. Risk management should not be treated as documentation activity. It should become a part of everyday thinking as decision making across the organization. When employees start asking what could go wrong before performing an activity, risk management becomes truly effective. There are two fundamental principles in quality risk management. The first principle is scientific rigor. Risk decisions should be based on scientific evidence, historical data, experiments, observations, and expert knowledge. Assumptions and personal opinions should never be the bias for risk assessment. The second principle is proportionality. The level of effort applied should match the level of risk. For a high-risk activity, detailed assessment, extensive controls, and strong documentation may be required. This ensures effective use of resources while maintaining quality and compliance. Quality risk management follows a continuous cycle. The life cycle consists of four major stages: initiation, risk assessment, risk control, risk review. The process begins by identifying a situation that requires evaluation. After assessing the risk, appropriate controls are implemented. The effectiveness of these controls is then reviewed regularly. This creates a continuous improvement cycle. Risk management is therefore not a one-time activity, but an ongoing process throughout the product life cycle. Risk assessment is the most important stage of the QRM process. It consists of three steps. Step 1: Risk identification. We ask what might go wrong. Potential hazards, failures, deviations, contamination sources, equipment failures, or human errors are identified. Step 2: Risk analysis. We evaluate how likely is the event, how severe could the impact be, can the problem be detected before harm occurs. Step 3: Risk evaluation. Finally, we decide whether the risk is acceptable or whether additional actions are required. This structured approach ensures that decisions are systematic rather than emotional or subjective. Different situations require different risk assessment tools. Three commonly used tools are FMEA, failure mode and Effects analysis. FMEA helps identify possible failures and rank risk based on severity, probability, detectability. This is widely used in pharmaceutical manufacturing and laboratory operations. FTA Fault Tree Analysis. FTA works backward from a problem to identify possible root causes. It is useful when investigating complex failures. HACCP Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. HACCP is commonly used to identify hazards and establish critical control points within a process. An important lesson is no single tool works for every situation. Organizations should select the tool that best matches the complexity of the risk being evaluated. Once risks are identified, the next step is risk control. There are two major components. Risk reduction. This involves implementing controls to reduce either the probability of occurrence, the severity of impact. Examples include equipment upgrades, additional training, SOP revisions, process improvements, engineering controls. Risk acceptance. After implementing controls, some residual risk may remain. If the remaining risk is within acceptable limits, management may formally accept the risk with proper justification and documentation. This decision must always be based on scientific evidence and regulatory expectations. Risk management cannot succeed without effective communication. Risk information should be shared among quality teams, manufacturing teams, laboratory personnel, management, regulatory authorities when necessary. People should understand not only the decision but also the reasoning behind the decision. When employees understand the why, they are more likely to follow procedures correctly. Risk communication must continue throughout the entire product life cycle, from development to commercialization and post-market activities. Transparency promotes trust and better decision making. Many organizations make mistakes while implementing QRM. One common mistake is treating risk assessment as a checkbox activity. When risk assessments are completed only to satisfy auditors, their value is lost. Another mistake is maintaining outdated risk assessments. Processes change, equipment changes, and new information become available. Risk assessments must be reviewed and updated regularly. A third mistake is relying on a single tool for every situation. Di- Different risk assessments require different evaluation methods. Selecting the right tool is critical for obtaining meaningful results. Avoiding these mistakes improves both compliance and operational efficiency. As we conclude, let us look at the future of quality risk management. First, risk thinking should be integrated into every department, whether it is research, manufacturing, quality assurance, engineering, or supply chains. Risk assessment should become part of daily operations. Second, decisions should be data driven. Scientific evidence and objective data should guide risk evaluations. Third, organizations should build a culture where employees feel comfortable identifying and reporting risk. Reporting a risk should be viewed as protecting the organization and the patient, not creating a problem. A strong risk culture leads to better quality, stronger compliance, and improved patient safety.